And this week for us was Mason Pratt. He's a freshman wide receiver DB. And it's funny, when you watch him play in middle school, the kid dominated. He's phenomenal. He struggled when he first got to us, but the kid is the perfect example. He stayed the course. Yes sir, no sir kid, super coachable. And this was his best week at Calvary football.
What about your young group do you like so much as head coach?
There's a lot of them, and they're a tight knit group, and they're super athletes, and they just work really really hard. You know, we have a massive amount of freshman offensive linemen. They got to block like Jay Barner and Buddy Curry and these guys, and they get beat up, and they just kind of continue to go. They're super coachable, so the future is bright. They're going to just continue to get better and better, and we're excited what they bring to the table.
Maybe with some of the injury troubles, guys are going to have to step up.
100%.
Let's turn the page over to your opponent this week. You did speak a little bit on them, but what has jumped out the most since you tried to go see them in person? There was some rain, I know, last Friday, but what about them has really jumped off after scouting?
You know, offensively, they're dynamic. They got four legit quarterback in the state of South Carolina. They do they're super well coached. They're as fundamentally sound as I've seen on film, both offensively and defensively and special teams. You know, they're solid at all three facets. So they're a big play offense. They're definitely an offense, kind of a pass first offense, but you know, they're multiple, and defensively they're just so sound in what they do. They tackle well, and they are a really, really physical football team.
What did you see from the Cavaliers against Beach that when you are preaching, hey, we need to do this, this, and this against Oceanside, there's a little extra confidence there that you've already seen it on tape.
The biggest thing is we can't turn the ball over. That's every night. And I thought we held on to the ball pretty well against Beecham, which we didn't do against New Hampstead. So that was definitely a plus. And, defensively, you want to live to see another down. We can't get beat with the big play. They're going to complete passes.
Yeah.
They're going to complete some plays. They're scheming for us too. They're a dynamic offense. So for us, we just want to kind of, keep everything in front of us, tackle well, and not get beat with the big play.
But hey, it's on your home field. Let's touch a little bit on that. It feels like it's been building up to this Friday, especially because of the opponent you guys have. Just talk about kind of the new traditions. There's a Cav walk happening this year. Just the excitement for you, first year as head coach, first home game as head coach, kind of with everything around it.
I said this from afar. I've said this multiple times when I was the head coach at Jenkins High School and coming to Calvary to scout games, and just the atmosphere is unmatched. So now becoming the head coach and being able to live through it, I'm just hoping to continue to add to the traditions. And we're adding one. We're doing a Cav walk at 6:40. Fans, please get there. We're going to kind of come out 63rd and come through that first gate, and we're just going to walk, hopefully through a lot of fans, through our cheerleaders, and kind of go through that pass gate, and that's kind of the way we're going to start our flex and stretch. So we're super, super excited about it. The kids are jacked up about it.
Yeah, brings the community together.
Absolutely.
Too.
And our community is so strong, so that's what we're trying to do.
Absolutely. Well, one more note about Friday as well, being the first home football game for the Cavaliers. Trailer Park Pizza Party is offering 50% off cheese and pepperoni pizzas after Calvary home games. Coach, you said you had a spot after your high school games.
Yeah.
This is now kind of the spot you're hoping for your guys.
Oh, it's awesome. I think 3 weeks in a row I've said the same thing. When you come in here, it's South Georgia football, and I'm just super excited. Hopefully, after a W, win, lose, or draw, whatever it is, we got to come here, enjoy ourselves. We're so thankful for them opening their doors to us and our student athletes and our community. And it's just such a blessing for us.
All right. Well, there's so much more to go on this edition of the Calvary Coaches Show. On the other side of the break, it's one of the biggest contributors against Beach. It's Scottie Walker. He had a pick 6. We're talking to the senior next.
Put us and to impact our world for him. Parents, alumni, we invite you to join us. We are so excited to see how God moves during this special week, and we would love for you to be praying with us, that hearts will be open and that lives will be changed. Thank you for being such an important part of what God is doing here at Calvary.
Welcome back to the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. Our first guest of the afternoon, Scottie Walker, a senior defensive back who has really worked to earn your starting role on this team. Scottie, let's go back a little bit. Against Beach, you had that pick 6. What'd you see? That was a fun play to be on the reception of, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. It was a great experience. That was my first touchdown of the season and my first touchdown ever, and it just felt amazing.
What the support of your teammates, because you returned it to that front corner, it seemed like the entire defense was right there with you. The brotherhood after something like that. How does that make you feel after you do something?
It made me feel loved. It let me know that they're all there for me, and we all just won.
Yeah, what does a guy like him do, especially in game one, when you're trying to set the tone for your team this season? For a play like that, it only sets up for success on the line.
It's the perfect example of just staying the course. You know, Scottie's story a little bit is Scottie was a JV player, freshman and sophomore year, and you know, in the world of transfer portals and you know, instant gratification.
Go out of town almost every weekend just to go train to get better.
Well, let's talk about his off-season work then. If that's his foundation, I'm sure it's fun to put on the pads and start hitting a little bit when you get to this point in the season. But in the Februarys and Marches and the Aprils, how does he lead by example for your roster?
I think we had 45 guys there in January because of guys like Scottie. You know, in the past, some of our actually nursing an injury almost the entire offseason with his hand. So he never allowed that to be a crutch for him. And, you know, we talked as coaches, like if we named captains tomorrow, it's Scottie Walker, you know, and not a big talker. But again, he leads by example, and 9 out of 10 times he's going to lead his team in the right direction.
When you started at Calvary in the 8th grade, would you say you had any goals for yourself? What were some of the things when you came to a school like Calvary that sets its students up for success? Hey, I think that by the time that I'm done as a Cavalier, I could be here.
When I first came to Calvary, I didn't even know what a weight room was. So when I seen that, that was a lot to me. When I got here, I just wanted to work. I seen all the people ahead of me, Troy Ford. That was one of the biggest players I seen when I first got to Calvary. So I always looked up to people like him, Terry Simmons, and all of them when I first got here.
Well, now that you are a player that the underclassmen can look up to, how do you try and model your game to be a point where you can be that mentor? Because I'm sure you're also looking at college players and pro players and saying, hey, that's my style if I kind of just can pass that along.
Wait, so what are you asking me?
How about as a mentor now as a senior? You know, how are you trying to lead for the younger classmen? Because just a few years ago, you were right there.
Yeah, I just want to lead by example because, I mean, our freshmen, they're a little hard-headed, you know. They talk back a lot, man. Yeah, I am.
Freshman trait, right?
I am, but shoot, man. We all just got to focus on, we got to listen more than we talk back. We talk back way too much to each other. Just all around, we just got to better ourselves.
Yeah, well, hey, it's a big one this Friday. The passing attack of Oceanside Collegiate. I'm sure your defensive coaching staff has been preaching that. What have you seen on tape? I mean, what is your skill set going to be able to help the Cavaliers on Friday?
I feel like all our receivers are better than theirs. So I just feel like going against our receivers, I feel like it'll have me ready for Friday.
Yeah, Coach, for him, senior leader against such a great opponent, how do you try and lean on guys like him in nights like that?
You know, he's been there. You know, he played against, you know, Prince Avenue in the quarterfinals. You know, he got some reps against Cedar Grove in the semifinals. So, you know, he's been in big games before. These games are like roller coasters. There's going to be ups and downs. Like I said, I'll steal a Coach Stroud line. You know, you can never get too high. You can never get too low. You got to just stay even. You know, we give up the big touchdown. Okay, that's over. We talked about it to our kids a lot. We have to have short memories. I want them to play loose and go make plays rather than try not to make mistakes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Scottie, appreciate the time. Thanks for joining the Calvary Coaches Show, and good luck the rest of the season. When we come back, wide receiver coach Jasen Cheatham joins us next. Welcome back to the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. Our guest for this block is wide receiver coach of your Cavaliers, Jasen Cheatham, man of the hour. Coach, first season with the Cavaliers, you said that when he became head coach, he gave you a call in the offseason, and he got you here in the purple and gold.
Yeah. I'd interviewed for a couple of jobs in January. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Got a phone call from Jasen, and we have a history, so we sat down, had a conversation, talked to my wife about it, and I'll be honest, I never thought I would be at Calvary. But you never say never. Ended up here, and I'm enjoying every day.
Well, you said you guys met in 2019. How important, the stops that you guys make as coaches, as young coaches, how important are those relationships on a daily basis?
Well, for me, it's huge. I'm not from Savannah. Mm-hmm. Coach ain't from Savannah, so when we meet people, you want to keep it cordial. Yeah. You don't want to burn bridges, things we try to teach our players. But we met in 19. My son played for him. He went to Vidalia. We kept the relationship there. We did 7-on-7 up there. We did JV games up there. We still chatted every now and again. Mm-hmm. And then when he got back and took a job at Calvary, he actually ran him and his wife ran to my wife at Tybee one night and kind of talked again and hung out. Mm-hmm. But it's been good.
What was your impression of this guy when you first met him and over the years before you became kind of coworkers?
Listen, great person, great family. It was great coaching Ashton, his son. He was a huge part of our semifinal team at Jenkins, and there's just sport of family. And then when Coach got into the coaching world, you just saw the way that he treated kids. I've said it 1,000 times. I want guys that are just love kids, and he's the perfect example. He's a relationship builder. Yeah. That's why he's able to be out in the community and be so influential because he builds so many relationships with so many different people.
And as you said, you're not from Savannah. You have come into Savannah and made a name for yourself. Let's go back with your history a little bit. You were in the military, and you say you draw a lot of comparisons of working as a team from being in the military now as a coach with your coaching staff and the guys you work. Kind of what's your background in that?
So, being in the military, you start low like JV. Start when you first get in, you're a grunt. You do as you're told. You work hard. Hopefully, you get better. Mm-hmm. As you progress in rank, you progress with your titles. You become involved in teaching the young men how to soldier properly and whatnot. Being a veteran's huge for me. But the transition from being in the military to coaching, it's all the same. We're all together to serve a common purpose. Mm-hmm. We're there for each other. We're there for our brothers. There's a lot of great programs that do that. There's one called Soldiers to Sidelines that it takes soldiers and helps them get their education, get them on the side, and get them coaching. Mm-hmm. Coach Montague, another veteran. Mm-hmm. He's retired military as well, but it's a big part of who I am. Being in the military changed my life for the better. Coming back from my deployment changed my life. Mm-hmm. And then going into coaching is what I needed to do. I feel like I was meant to be on this earth to help mold young men and women, and I enjoy coaching. I enjoy being with kids.
When you think back to those first coaching roles, how kind of green did you see yourself as now looking back, and what would you tell yourself?
Well, I was 19 years old when I became a head coach. I was at my old school in Memphis, Elmore Park Packers. Coached 10U. We had 70 kids. I was by myself. So I hired a bunch of community people to help me out. I didn't practice football for 2 weeks. We just ran. Yeah. So I cut my numbers to 40, and then we moved on. But it's night and day, but it's always been the same. I'm not the greatest coach. I'll be the first to say I'm not. I'm just really good at motivating kids, and I'm there for them, and they can trust me. Once you build that trust with them, they'll do anything for you.
How can you vouch for that?
Yeah, it's spot on. It's exactly what he just said is it. He builds intentional relationships. It's not transactional. He doesn't just have. I think it was like it was 2 weeks into the season, and the receiver group's already at his house swimming, and his wife's cooking and stuff. It's a family affair when it comes to the Cheathams. It's not just Jasen. It's his wife also. They're so influential with our kids. And like I said, his relationships are intentional. They're meaningful. Every one of his players know that he's a phone call away, no matter what time it is, no matter what day it is, and he'll be there.
Yeah, and the wide receiving core for this team is arguably the most athletic position group. Yeah. You were handed the keys, kind of both of you guys. What was in the offseason conversations like of knowing that you're an offensive-minded head coach and that you're going to be helping kind of side by side with the position group?
Well, for me, it was just kind of like, all right, I watched film. I know some of the guys because some of the guys were with me before. So I know what we had. And basically my job was to learn the offense. And to be honest, it's kind of get out of the way a little bit. Let them be who they are. Don't rewrite it and everything. We do simple drills, basics, because they're athletic, they're smart. And I think that's the biggest thing for them is that how intelligent they are. They can read a defense. and sit down and make the right reads most of the time.
Yeah.
But they're really good. And we're creating depth. And the biggest part of me is that our older receivers are kind of taking the young ones under the wings. And there's times that I want to pop off at our freshmen, but I'm getting beat out by my juniors. Like, hey, guys, we don't do things that way. Do it this way. Why aren't you not running full speed? So that right there shows it's working. You know, putting some pressure on the older guys to teach the young guys. Kind of like what Scottie was talking about. Scottie's been mentoring some of the receivers because he does not take it easy on them. But he does let them know they did a good job or not. So I appreciate him doing that.
He's got a way tougher job than he's giving himself credit for. If you look at our receiver core, we don't have a senior. We don't have one senior receiver. You know what I'm saying? You look at times on offense, and we have 9 underclassmen out there. So, you know, the receiver position, he's done a really, really good job, I think, of bringing a different level of toughness to them, making them mentally tougher, making them physically tougher, and holding them accountable. You know what I'm saying? If they're not doing it, and I'm not talking about route running, if they're not playing his brand of football, which is effort all the time, attention to detail, playing for the person next to you in the sense of maybe it's not a throw, but you have to lay a block, or you have to, you know, different things. He holds them accountable. So, you know, that's all I could ask for as a head coach in my receivers. So I trust him. He runs his own periods. I don't oversee anything. And I think our receiving core is getting better and better every day.
For this season, it's a long journey. What do you see from your receiving core against Beach that now in the prep work for Oceanside Collegiate, you're really, really kind of hounding them on?
Catching with their hands, the too many drops, the ball's got to the body. So this week we harped on, you know, Marlon's got very strong hands, and he had 2 balls that never happens to him get to his chest. Just catch the ball with your hands. I know it sounds simple, but it doesn't happen. A lot of kids want to catch with the body. So teaching the techniques of how to reach out and catch, and a lot of over-shoulder catches, get things away from your body. But like Coach said, be physical. One DB should not be tackling our receivers. Not one of them at least. We need to break tackle and get upfield, and be physical blockers. Take pride in it. Celebrate your teammates.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's emphasis this week was.
Scott, are you going to take that personally? You just said that, you know, DB shouldn't be tackling his receivers. Well, all right, Coach. Appreciate your time. Good luck as always. All right, when we come back, Natalie Helbling, the head cross-country coach and girls soccer coach, joins us on the Calvary Coaches Show. All right. I think, Coach, the idea was. Let's do 2 of us. Let's do 2 of us.
Coach at Nationwide.
I literally promise you, I write a few things. I promise you. Yeah. We're going right. Yeah, I'm also focused.
All the time.
All right, the head coach of the Calvary cross-country team, Natalie Helbling, is joining us now. You see that video? I know I sent it to you earlier. I mean, can you believe that cross-country season starts tomorrow?
I know. We have been working since the end of June, early June, and so it's exciting to see that we finally have a meet, that we're able to get in the bus, travel to Statesboro, and then put some of our hard work into action.
What has that hard work looked like? I know you're out there. It is hot in the South Georgia heat. You go to a park with a splash pad. I'm sure that helps a little bit. But what about the team this year? Are you just like, you know, you enjoy being around kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm very lucky. We have a great team, some great athletes. I get to interact with them in soccer as well, so I get to double dip, which is great. Over the summer, we had a themed run, so tried to make it more fun, even though it was hot. And then we did end at a splash pad every once in a while, and the kids got to go and cool off there. So it's been exciting to watch them improve, even just in the short couple months we've been running.
You mentioned it, and we said it, that you are also the head coach of the girls soccer team. I mean, truthfully, like, what came to mind when I was thinking about putting together the interview is Swiss Army knife. It just seems like you have your hand in a lot of things for Calvary athletics. How has this school, now in your 6th year, set you up to do what maybe you're meant to do?
Yeah, I never thought that my life would lead me to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I kind of always didn't want to be a teacher, and then God was like, teacher. So I got to be a teacher, but I think that also led me to be a coach. And so I dabbled in middle school athletics and learned a lot in those roles. And then I was placed as head cross-country coach, and then I had the opportunity to be head soccer coach. And so I think being able to be at a private Christian school, I get to see the students in the classroom, but I also get to interact with them out of the classroom, on the field, or on the track. And so it's pretty cool to get to see students and their personalities shine. And that we say that we're a relationship school, and this allows me to make those relationships.
What's been the most, I could ask you, what is the most rewarding thing, but kind of maybe influential? How have you been influenced as a person, teacher, and coach since coming on campus?
I think that I get to remind myself that I'm still learning too. But the kids teach me more about how to be a Christ-loving individual just by how they show up every day, how they love each other, how they love their sports. It reminds me to be patient, and that we're all humans and we're all doing it together. So I think that students do and athletes do a great job at just reminding us that we're all we're all trying to figure it out together.
Yeah. So I guess when you look now, we're at the front of a school year, and as you kind of go through it, you have in every single season a lot going on this time of the school year. Are you energized? Are you excited? Is it just the fact that we're back to school? Why do you enjoy this part of the year?
Yes, back to school is always great because you come off of like a summer hiatus. You can see kids around campus every once in a while, but everybody is in the hallways. They see you in the classroom when you're walking class to class, and so just the energy that students of hey Nature Nat or hey Coach Nat kind of makes you feel like you're wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And then that makes you excited too. And they want to practice and they want to show how well that they've been working, and so it's exciting to see them in game mode too.
You just mentioned Nature Nat. That's probably one of the things that I wanted to talk about. Wasn't sure how we were going to bring it. Can you say where Nature Nat comes from?
Yeah, so in addition to coaching cross country and soccer, I am the STEM and Nature Center director, so I get to hang out with all the animals in the Nature Center. I teach oceanography and zoology, and so students come in and we hang out with Sheldon the tortoise and the snakes, and the owl can really like reset and go again.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get out there for that.
All right. Well, Natalie, I appreciate you joining the Calvary Coaches Show. Good luck tomorrow and good luck the rest of the season.
I appreciate it.
All right. When we come back, the third week of the Calvary Coaches Show wraps up. We're taking a look at Oceanside and give a couple announcements. Welcome back to the Calvary Coaches Show from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. Head football coach of the Cavaliers, Jasen Cameron. I am Jeffrey Roberts. Couple more questions, Coach, and then it's game time.
Yes, sir.
Oceanside Collegiate, it's a non-region game. What about non-region games? Maybe have a little more juice to them for you and the team.
You know, it's a game that you schedule, and we want to schedule as good a non-region games as possible to prepare you for region. Like you look at teams, teams across the state, and a lot of them play really, really tough non-region games in hopes to, prepare them or better prepare them for region play and God willing playoffs. So this is the same thing. It's a really, really good football team coming to Savannah that we got to play at a high level for. You know what I'm saying? So to me, like I said, it's a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah.
We got to come and show what we're capable of and not miss the point of that this is the second game of the season. You know what I'm saying? I keep telling our guys, we're still in the basement and we got to claw our way out. So we just got to continue to progress, continue to worry about us, and hopefully we come out with a W. If not, you go back to the drawing board and you start region play, and now it counts. Now you're going for a region championship. So the biggest thing is continuing to improve, focusing on Calvary and not getting too high, not getting too low.
You guys played the same Oceanside team at the same point in the season last year. It was August 30th, so come Friday, a day shy of a year ago. How much are you taking from a game like that?
You do. You take a lot from it. You learn from your mistakes. Like I said to you, I think it was last week, too many penalties and too many turnovers last year. 13, I think it was, penalties and 3 turnovers. So those are self-inflicted things. I'm like huge with that as a football coach. God forbid we lose on Friday. Let's just leave there saying, man, Oceanside beat us. Man, really good football team. They played better than we did, and they beat us. You don't look back and say, penalties, turnovers, missed tackles, missed alignments, those things are self-inflicted. So that's my biggest thing, is making sure we don't beat ourselves. This is a high caliber football team. So, we're super excited about the challenge.
All right. Well, it's game week, 2 days away from kickoff against the Cavaliers and Oceanside Collegiate. A couple things, Coach. Let's touch on that Cav Walk one more time. If you show up early on Friday at 6:40 p.m., you and the guys are walking through the parking lot to kind of touch in with that Calvary community again.
Yeah, we start, like 6:40, we're going out to flex and stretch. Our kids are gonna be in full equipment, helmets on, like ready to roll. So like you're just essentially kind of giving that little extra juice, that little